Again, ladies and gentlemen, the announcements tell us that if they don't have a badge number, won't present a badge, we don't know if they're police. You've heard about the women getting pulled over, the guy dressed up like a cop and getting raped. But we don't even know if these are police, ladies and gentlemen. We are still trying to find out if you are peace officers. We've been unable to see any badge numbers or names. Is it simply black uniform, GRU, or is it Stasi? Can you tell us? Are you a police officer? Who are you? Are you from a foreign country? I believe you're in violation of the Texas code. Your badge number isn't evident, but you're demanding her ID, officer. You don't have your ID in plain view, but you're demanding other people's IDs. Can you explain that to us? Are you aware of the state law? But I guess it's all about violating the law. You guys violate the law from your higher up orders, but nobody else can. Is that it? Again, the military terminology, the military seizure of America. They call us civilians, and this is the military dictatorship. As corporate America sucks your pension funds and your stock markets dry and imprisons your children, this is the new black uniform of the neo-fascist state. Witness in pain for the Republic. Witness when the only jobs will be prison guards and black uniformed, unmarked government enforcers. We don't know. We don't know names. They are not wearing the ski mask this evening. The ski masks are missing. Look, he loved Patriot Act 2. Soon the government will have even more tyrannical powers, and it will not matter because a black uniform is fun to put on. Another headline, drunks face drug test as they enter the pub in England. Pub and club revelers face drug tests as soon as they enter the premises. Anyone going into a bar, whether they arouse suspicion or not, will be asked to take a swab test which highlights any drug use. It's nuts. Oh, you want to get in the sports stadium, got to search you. Oh, want to come in the bar, we got to drug test you. Oh, we'll go ahead and arrest you. Go ahead and get you in the system. Oh, you can't own guns now because you got a misdemeanor. They want to change the law from where felons can't own to misdemeanors. It's all criminals. Gestapo tactics at anti-war rallies. Cops show up, what's your name? We can put you in jail for that. Cops hit bars to cite suspected drunks. Judge says Chicago police must stop holding witnesses, denying lawyers. Associated Press reported they've already instituted the Patriot Act for any crime or suspected crime. They just grab you, hold you for a few weeks, don't tell anyone they have you until you confess to anything. Here in Austin, where I live, they have this personal recognizance bond where they go, we'll let you call your lawyer. We're talking for traffic offenses, warrants you haven't paid, tickets you haven't paid. I had friends this has happened to. They didn't pay a speeding ticket. They're arrested. Can I please call my family? Just sign here. And people sign, and it's list all these crimes you've committed, and then you're on probation. I mean, it's just nuts. Then they had a local newscast here in Austin where they go, oh yeah, you're guilty until proven innocent now in Travis County.
Well, the Constitution guarantees that we're all innocent until proven guilty.
But we've learned that in Travis County, that is not always true. Nancy Wilson has a story in this KI Investigates. Nancy.
Well, the Constitution says the purpose of bail is to guarantee someone will show up for court. It also says punishment is reserved for those who have been found guilty by a judge or a jury of our peers. But we found that some people getting out of jail means having to serve the sentence before going to trial. Our right of being innocent until proven guilty is what sparked this KI Investigates.
What bothers me is that we've turned the system upside down right now. It's kind of like an Alice in Wonderland world where we do the sentencing first and then we do the trial later.
Police spy files stir up an uproar in Denver against spying on the people. And over in Australia, you're not allowed to protest the WTO. They're just shutting down the website, saying that might spur someone to rally and get violent. So you can't have a site criticizing the WTO, but it's for your safety. It's part of the democracy. Over in England, they can grab you without committing any crime. You can claim you're mentally ill, Soviet style. There's all sorts of bizarre police abuse cases we see where undercover cops in Detroit, Michigan, we're outside a bar. A woman walked out, got in her car. The cop ran up, put her in handcuffs, couldn't get her jacket off her hand. She wasn't even resisting.
He's now been fired, but it shows this mentality. He took a pocket knife out and cut one of her fingers off and half severed the other one. I mean, that just takes psychotic force to do that. And then I read these law enforcement magazines like Law Enforcement Technology for 2002, and it says, pull people over. They've got an anti-UN sticker. It says, get us out of the UN, and go ahead and take them into jail. And it says, police chiefs, don't get mad at your officers when they arrest people that have anti-UN stickers. It's safer to go ahead and arrest them. I mean, it's getting nuts. But they need this chilling effect so you don't resist them, because as stuff gets worse, there's going to be more resistance mounting. Louisiana police demand DNA from drivers. They just pull people over and demand their DNA because there's a killer out who's killed 4 people, and we're going to test everybody. You give us DNA or we're going to arrest you right now. Checkpoints on the highway, just getting you used to it. Now they say police can keep all DNA and prints. This is in England and the U.S. Former FBI director says right-wing groups bigger threat than Al-Qaeda. Well, the right-wing groups that are doing bad things are the same as Al-Qaeda. They're all CIA. We've already proven that. In Europe, hacker laws can make protest a crime. The new laws they're passing in this country and Europe say any action on a computer could be considered hacking, and that's life in prison, by the way, a law they just passed. Over in Beijing, they've got all these tattletale tips programs. They've got that now here. Again, we're mirroring communist China. They've used the Patriot Act. They mirrored it in Wisconsin and passed a Patriot Act in Wisconsin at the state level, and they're arresting people who, quote, sue the government or try to depose them. And the state prosecutor, when they arrested Mr. Magritz, who was suing the government, said that's not going to be tolerated. That's paper terrorism. And then they had a city manager in Milwaukee, and when they were trying to do a recall vote on her, she in the city council session said, can't we just declare martial law and stop all protest? And they put this in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel like it was normal. I mean, it's just getting so nuts. Congress eases scrutiny of FBI abuses. Now, they don't care if they abuse you. In Texas, no homework at school. Tell it to the judge. They're now arresting and fining parents if the children don't finish their homework assignments. Again, school may grade parents. They've said they'll use the schools to fan out and get total control. Another headline, school cracks down on parents. Tickets issued when students miss mandatory program. Subject to inspection up in Illinois in Belleville, people wake up with housing inspectors armed in private homes, and they will, if you have more than 3 toothbrushes and you're only licensed to have 2 in your home, they have giant fines or arrest you. And they say, we don't need warrants. Story here out of the Tucson Citizen. DUI holiday patrols out for blood. It says they now pull people over en masse at checkpoints and say, we're going to go ahead and take your blood. Imagine in the dark by flashlight jabbing needles in your arm, and it says they did it. Now they're cracking down on homeschooling. Though they have the top test scores, trying to intimidate people into not homeschooling. I mean, it's the Soviet Union. Advertisements in England attacking Bush's intelligence band. I saw this cartoon ad for a new CD and music, and it just showed Bush going, hey, I like this CD, and sticking it in a toaster and laughing and burning it. And England said, that's hateful. You can't do that. Thought crime. 7 arrested for protest of president's brother. They tried to go into their own university auditorium with Governor Jeb Bush and had shirts that said they didn't like him, and they were arrested. In England, they're now getting rid of juries. They're now reinstating double jeopardy, where you're tried twice or 3 times for the same crime. Every facet of a free society being butchered. In Australia, they said no protest of the World Trade Organization allowed. They said protesters will be shot, and then people went ahead and defied them, and they didn't because they stood up to them. Good job. Europeans have now outlawed net hate speech, which means any criticism of the government, and a new term, xenophobia. And a British farmer was arrested for just criticizing German produce. They said that was hateful. Cameras mold for neighborhood watch. Now your local tattletale can dial into the local cameras and tattle on you. More eyes for the globalists. See, they need us to be part of this for it to be successful. And we hear this comment by local government. Montgomery County draws on civilians looking to help police. See, and they call us civilians. Why is the local county commissioner's court or the sheriff calling you a civilian? Are they